Welcome back. We're out today and we've decided to do a 1-year boat review of our Lund Adventure 1775 Sport, Adventure Sport I think it's called. We had a couple requests to say what we thought of the boat after a year, and we were actually thinking about that ourselves to do a video, what we thought of the boat, the pros and the cons, and any buyer's regret. So we'll kind of get into that. So we'll start kind of on the outside, then we'll hop in the boat and get it out on the water, and we'll talk about what we like and maybe some things that we would like changed or we wish we had a little bit different. So one thing I've talked about a little bit before in some of our videos, we put the rock tamers on pretty early on when we bought the boat. And after that, we even put on like the bow buddies. We have bow buddies that go on here. I'll insert a shot of that. We have them taken off right now. And the reason they're off actually is because it's a lot easier to launch the boat with them off. So it's the good thing is with the bow buddy style, they come off and on really easy, which is beneficial. Other ones, I know they're a lot harder to take off and on. I can't remember the name brands or whatever, but the bow buddies, they have pretty good coverage. I think some of the other ones that are harder to take off maybe have a better coverage along the sides. But the bow buddies we found have been good. It saved it when we only had the rock tamers on. We were still getting some rock chips in the side of the boat or in the front of the boat here, which on a brand new boat is, you know, that sucks, I'm not gonna lie. But once we put the bow buddies on, it pretty much took all that away. All the rock chips and all that sort of stuff went away. A little bit of an inconvenience putting them off and on, but really, I don't know what it takes us, Trish. What does it take us, like 2 minutes?
If that.
Yeah, it's nothing. To save your boat, yeah, for sure. The only other thing, and I mean, is it a regret? I mean, I guess a little bit, is actually the color of the boat. Like, we love the boat. I think it looks like amazing, but at the same time, as you can see, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you get dust on it, and you know, if you drive through rain and you get that water that whips up from the highway, it really shows like right away. So with a different color, like maybe a red or a blue, maybe it wouldn't show as much. There's a really sharp one too, what do they call it, gunmetal? I think it's gunmetal, something like that they call it. I think that one looks really sharp. To be honest, I think the black and the gunmetal are the best looking Lund Adventures out there, but with the blue and the red, maybe it wouldn't show up like every drop of, and, you know, bit of dust and drop of road water. So a bit of a regret that way. I may, in the future, if I was ever to buy another boat, which I don't think we are, maybe a different color than black. So something to keep in mind if you're out looking for it. It's just a lot of cleaning if you want it to look pretty all the time. And I guess while we're outside here, could talk about the Terrova. That's what we have on the front. It's not necessarily talking about the boat itself, but it's a really solid trolling motor for this size of boat. 80-pound thrust, 24-volt system. I think I talked about that in our very first video when we bought the boat. And after a year of using it, Terrovas, I'm not new to Terrovas. I've had a couple already, but it works flawless for this boat. Lots of power. Spot lock is fine, even in higher winds. The 80-pound 24-volt is, we haven't needed anything more than that. I know you can get like a 36-volt, 112-pound maybe. I'm not sure for sure, but I think that would be overkill. 80-pound has done everything we've wanted to. So probably what we'll do now is we'll launch the boat into the lake here, and we'll just have a chat about some of the stuff inside the boat, what we've thought of it, and pros and cons. Actually, before we get into the to the boat, we'll talk about the one glitch we had. I think the second time we took the boat out was the plug. Now we just have a different plug, a removable plug we put in there, but when we bought the boat, it came with a plug that was attached with a little cable, and the second time we had the boat out, that plug failed. And because it's you know, it's got a cable in and bolted from the inside, I had to actually, I cut it off because it was just spinning and it wouldn't stand. So that was a little disappointing. I'm sure if I would have went back, they would have given me another plug, but we had extra plugs with us and we've just never really bothered going back. But that was one little glitch right off the bat, is the plug failed on us right off the bat. But now let's get this boat in the water and we'll chat some more. Well, we're out on the lake now, and I start here at the front of the boat, and we'll start with the storage. The storage is like great for the size of it. You've got the both sides, and you can fit like a ton of gear in here. We have our rain gear in here, you know, extra. We have an anchor on this side. It just holds a ton of gear. The only thing that we thought would be better is if it was lockable. So that's kind of a bit of something we wish it had, was a lockable storage. And but so kind of the theme of this video is going to be this is a 2023 Adventure Sport 1775, and the 2024s have kind of fixed all the little quirks or, you know, things we would like better. They've pretty much fixed them all. So I mean, keep that in mind if you're looking to buy brand new. The 2024 probably going to have all the little things that we would like better. They kind of fixed them all. So unless you get a wicked deal on a 2023, go with the 2024. But I'll kind of get into all that. So the 2024, this is now lockable storage, and they have a rubber gasket ring around this.
And a hinge.
Oh yeah, and a gas hinge. Yeah, Trisha's right. So this is, you know, not that that's a big deal, but a gas hinge is an excellent touch to that. So they have like a gas shock or a gas hinge on there, a rubber gasket around there to seal it for heavy waves, because we've been on Clearwater Lake up north, and you know, you take a few waves over the bow for sure on that lake, and with that rubber gasket in there is a great idea. And they fixed that on the 2024. So again, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's a nice to have. The rod storage is nice. It's got, what do you got, 10 rods in here, and it's 7.5 on the top and 7.1 on the bottom. And it would be nice to fit that, because I got a couple 7.6 foot rods, and of course they don't fit. And the 7.1 on the bottom, of course, we've got a couple that are 7.2. So we just have to kind of mix and match, you know, the size of rods. But from what I understand, like, don't quote me 100% for sure on this one, but I've heard that the 2024 fits 7.6 on the top and 7.3 on the bottom. But again, you know, do your own research on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. And because we do have a couple 7'6" rods, and I have bigger ones for muskie, I'll get into that in a minute. But the 7'6", if they would have had that on this, would have been perfect. So it's a little bit of it's something we wish this one had the 7'6" storage, but it doesn't. But the new one, I think, does. And I think maybe gasket on the 2024. I think there might be a rubber gasket on this, but again, don't quote me. I think we actually just watched a video ourselves on the 2024, and we were like, oh man, they fixed like every little quirk we had with this one. They fixed it on the 2024. The next, I can move up to the dash here. Try and stay in frame. Trisha's my camera woman for the day. This is a Helix 9. I talked about it when I bought the boat, and I could probably fit a 10 in here, but not much bigger than a 10. Just the way the dash is set up. And on the 2024, they changed the dash style. And this console part here is now everything is down here, and this bump, this rise here on your dash is gone. So you have room here. Actually, you could probably put 2 graphs on here if you wanted. Not big 12-inchers, but you'd probably get you know, a couple 9s or a 10 and a 7 if you wanted something like that. And it definitely, that is something I noticed right away. I'm fine with this, and we're happy with it, but just a little bit more room, and to be able to put a second graph, because for us, like where we fish a lot up north, it's just the way the mapping is. You know, you've got decent mapping on hummingbird for some lakes, and then when you go up north, I think it's Lowrance units with Angler's Edge mapping. They've got phenomenal mapping of the lakes up north. So to be able to have the room for 2 units here would be, for us and the way we fish, would be really beneficial. On the 2024, their dash is much better designed than this one. But again, I mean, these are just small things. The boat overall, you know, I might as well say it right now, like there's zero buyer's regret on. We love our boat. There's just a few things that, you know, maybe little tweaks that would have been better. And the dash would be one of them. Where do we go? The motor. We can talk about the motor a little bit. We've got the 100 horsepower Honda on here. Kind of hard to see because I've got it up right now because this is actually a trolling motor only lake. We're on a stock trout lake. We're going to try and catch some big brook trout right away. But the 100 horse Honda has been bulletproof. So wherever you buy the boat from, they're going to have different motor options. I think the most common, honestly, is a 115 Merc on it. And we had the option to get the 115 Merc, and we went with the 100 horsepower Honda just strictly due to the warranty. At that time, they were offering a promotion on the warranty, and we got the 100 horse, and it's been really good motor so far. With the 100 horsepower, we get about 40 miles an hour pretty easy, and in the right conditions, I can get 43 or so. And with the 115, I've heard other guys have said they're getting 45, 47 with the 115, which makes sense. You know, you got a little bit extra horsepower. But the 115 on there, maybe would be a bit nicer. But honestly, we're getting 40, 41, 42 sometimes, and that's plenty fast enough for what we're doing. What else? Livewell on this is plenty big. It works great for us. We've had no issues with the livewell. The only thing with the design, I don't know if you can get in there, Trish, is on the side here. You can see that, or we're shadowing out, could black out in there. It's hard to say in the video, but fish can hide in there. It goes far enough back. You know, you get some.
Goes way back.
Some walleyes in there, and they like to hide in there. So, I mean, it's a nice big live well, and there's, you know, enough water, and the aeration works great. Your whatever fish you put in, we do usually just put walleyes in there, but they stay alive and fresh for all day. And I think they put a gasket on the 2024. So on the 2024 model, again, there's a gasket in there. Just and we noticed that, actually. We noticed when we have this thing right full and you got a few walleyes in there, and sometimes they splash around, and you would get a little bit of water out, especially if you're moving from spot to spot. And so they put a gasket on that. The storage, I don't think changed into the 2024, but you know, we've put a lot of our tackle in there, and it holds quite a bit. I can fit, I don't know how many trays I can fit in there.
A lot.
A lot. I have a lot of tackle. Too much tackle.
Is that a thing?
The jump seats are, you know, fantastic. If we have the grandkids out or guests with us, it's simple. You know, you've got extra seating, and then as far as like another casting deck, it's fantastic casting deck. You got lots of room. We fish a lot of, you know, for big pike in some of our lakes, and being able to, we can have fish off the front casting deck or the back. Having this casting deck here with the fold down seats is a fantastic feature. And on this side here, I guess my rod storage. So because we go for muskie and pike, muskie a little bit, but a lot of pike, I had to put these little aftermarket rod storage things, these Velcro ones. And because I've got a couple 8-foot rods, I think they're 8 feet. I'd have to double check, but definitely too big for our rod locker. And so we just installed these on here, and it works okay. It's not perfect, you know. They go in from here, and then they just kind of go up by my. They'll go all the way up here by my throttle. But they're out of the way, and it works for when we have our big rods in here. But a change they made on the 2024, they put something on this side. They change, oh, lost my balance. They changed this here. You see, we've got lots of storage in here, and it's fine. Like, we've got all kinds of stuff. We've got our paddles in there, and we've got a little bump board in there, and all kinds of odds and ends. But they changed it for the 2024, where it's actually got lockable storage. So they kind of changed the design of this, and it's a lid that pops up here, and you've got lockable storage in here for a section in here. And then what they did is they put, for longer rods, they put 2 tubes up in here. They put 2 tubes here, and then they have a strap back here, I think it is, and it'll hold over 8-foot rods in the side. Now only 2 of them, but at least they thought of longer rod storage. You know, we wish we would have had that. We kind of MacGyvered our own, and it works fine. But longer rod storage in the 2024 was a great addition to that one. Now what else? Oh yeah, another thing I'll talk about is the storage here for your cell phone. It's kind of, my phone kind of fits in there, but not. And I don't have a big phone. There's some monster cell phones out there now. So that's one thing that's not super great on this year's model. The new one, of course, they changed the design of the cell phone holder, so it's kind of expandable, I think. And so it just kind of clips in, and it's one of those ones that just locks from the side, clamps it in, so it doesn't matter what size your cell phone is, it'll fit in there. Because mine works, it fits in there, that's okay, but it just barely fits. So that would be one thing. That's a bit of a disappointment that they didn't really think that through, because cell phones are always, like I said, mine's not that big, and there's a lot bigger cell phones out there. The storage underneath and the glove box, like we love the storage, so much storage, like underneath here, I can stuff stuff underneath there and underneath on the passenger side. And then, you know, when we bought the boat, we talked about the size of Trisha's
big
giant
there.
purse fits in there. So you can fit so much storage in there. Awesome storage in the glove box. Just tons of stuff in there. The sport top. When I did my first video, I think I said you had to have the sport top kind of sitting on top, which isn't true. I actually had a couple viewers that messaged and said, no, you can fit it underneath. We'll show that on this side here. And sure enough, it fits just perfectly fine in here. It fits a little tight, and we were just probably a little tentative when you first buy something and it's it's brand new. We didn't want to force it, but yeah, it fits right in there, and you just kind of pull the sides in a little bit, and it just snaps in, and it's right out of the way. And we leave it in here most of the time for most of our trips. We leave it in because even on a day like today, there's no rain in the forecast or anything like that. But if you wanted to, you put it up, and it gets you out of the sun, which is a big thing too. And the heat has been the last couple weeks in Manitoba. The heat has definitely been there, and you put that sunshade up, not sunshade, I guess, but sport top, and it gives you that shade. The only thing with the sport top, and it's with any bimini top or any sort of top, it kind of gets in the way of fishing unless you're maybe trolling or standing off on the back. And sometimes we'll have it up, and we may not be fishing like underneath it unless we're trolling for something, but it gives you a spot to get out of the sun. You can be fishing on the back here, fishing off the front, and it does give you the walkthrough when it's up. I can always insert a video clip of that. I can put it up, but yeah, you can walk right through to the front, no problem, and it goes up quite simple, quite quick. So it's well designed that way. Other than that, I mean, that's just another quick walkthrough a year after buying the boat. Like I said, there's no buyer's regret. It's a great boat, and kind of like I mentioned before, if you're thinking about a Lund 1775, all the little things that we wish had been a little bit different, they fixed in the 2024. So I think they really, if you're looking for a good, I wouldn't call it a starter's boat, but kind of like a medium entry-level boat, that doesn't break the bank too bad. Yeah, the 1775 Lund Adventure is a great boat. Getting some big water with it. We've gone up north, like I mentioned, handles the big water, no problem. Now I'm just kind of babbling, but that's a quick review. And if you guys have any more questions, you're thinking about buying one and you have any questions, shoot me a message or a comment, and I'll do my best to answer them. But for now, I want to go catch a giant brook trout. That's why we're here. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.